name is Loie Lane, and I'm so excited to tell you guys about my new podcast, Internet Urban Legends, with my BFF Snitchery.
We deep dive into the darkest corners of the internet to uncover whether some of the most notorious web myths are hoax or whether they're con. Internet Urban Legends, available exclusively on Spotify.
Hello, my loves. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Hi, hello. My name is Loie. If you've never been graced by her presence before, this is my ancient, very orange, very stinky cat, Gigi. One time I was walking into a pet store and I saw her and I was like, oh my god, what a cute kitten, because she was so tiny. And the pet store employee was like, no, she's like 10. Sometimes when I film a video, I'm so excited because I know you guys are going to love the topic. Now, I always feel like that with all my videos. I never make anything that I don't think you guys would like. But there are some video topics that I know you guys are gonna love, that I know you're all gonna freak out about, that I know we'll be talking about for weeks to come. And this is one of them. Remember in a haunted side of TikTok video where I was like, hey, there's this account, it's called Diego Spikers, and I have to get the videos translated, but once I do, we should make an entire video about it. People have asked me for that video multiple times a day, every single day since I posted the original haunted side of TikTok, and that's how I know you guys want to hear about a topic. This is going to be a fairly long one. The Diego Spikers account is one filled with mystery and secrets, and the story is much deeper than I ever anticipated. I haven't even counted all the TikToks at this point, but I know it's like somewhere in the realm of 25 to 30 plus. A few things before we get started. I had some of the heavier dialogue videos translated by a native Spanish speaker into English and then captioned for you guys, but not every single one of them was translated. Sometimes there were only a few words and I didn't feel like we needed that context, or I felt like I had already gathered enough. For a lot of this, I'm actually using Google Translate to translate captions. So if I ever get something not quite right, I do apologize. I am an incredibly privileged person in that I've never had to speak two languages, and overall just a very dumb American who only really speaks English. Now, the Diego Spikers account that we're going to be looking at today is actually not the first that Diego has had, as in his bio he states that he was suspended at 900,000 followers. Fittingly enough, the very first video that we have to look at is the very one that supposedly got him suspended in the first place. In it, we see a bag on the floor, and from inside of that bag, something is moving around. A small hand reaches out to slowly unzip the bag, but when Diego opens it, nothing is there. And that's going to be a pretty common theme throughout these videos. Now, there is a child in the home, but the next video probably confirms that it's not the same child that would have been in that bag.
¿Qué está haciendo, mamita?
Jugando
¿Con quién está jugando?
con María,
¿De dónde sacó esa muñeca?
es de ella.
The poster enters his niece's room as she's laughing, and he's filming as she's giggling, but the moment that he steps inside, she stops. When Diego asks what she's doing, she responds that she's hanging out with her friend Maria. Her uncle, our poster, spots a doll on the ground, and when he asks where his niece found it, she replies with, it's hers. Then something pulls the doll underneath the bed, but when the poster ducks down, nothing's under there. It would seem that his niece, who we find out in the next video is called Amy, has an imaginary friend of sorts. However, it's quickly obvious that this crosses into very paranormal territory. Diego's next video is taken when he walks into the living room at 3 a.m., only to find the lights are still on at such a late hour.
¿Qué haces tú prendido esta hora, marica? Amy. Amy. Ay, Diosito. Amy. Amy.
We hear Amy laughing and giggling to herself as she sits in front of the TV console. Behind her are a set of hands playing with her hair. Diego, of course, runs over, but nothing's there, just the doll in place of where a child should have been. Amy is also unresponsive as he tries to wake her here. Her eyes are closed and it's almost like she's asleep, as if she's sleepwalking, so to speak. He captions the next TikTok, "I cannot take this anymore." We hear a loud banging sound inside of a cabinet, but when Diego opens it, he can't find anything. In the description box, he wrote, "After a while, you realize that it is not just a doll." So far, there's insane paranormal activity happening left and right, and the doll is only getting started. Diego enters Amy's room again, this time after dark. Despite all of the lights being off and Amy seemingly being sound asleep in her bed, we hear what sounds like a little girl giggling.
María. María. Amy.
When Diego turns on the lights here, he spots a pair of legs under the blanket, but when he rips it off, nothing is there. I think something interesting and worthy of noting here is that Diego calls out the name Maria, which is a name he, up until this point, has only been given by Amy, and there is no Maria, so to speak. So it's interesting that already when he sees things that shouldn't be, he kind of already knows who to blame it on. The blanket does seem to have some significance, however, as in the following TikTok, we see what looks like somebody huddled beneath that very blanket. And Diego writes in the caption, "That blanket was always hers." Once again, when Diego removes the blanket, nothing is there. Now, the ghost is not just stopping at tormenting Amy. Diego in this video explains that he had left out a glass of water the night before and is saying how it almost looks like it has what he calls worms in it.
Ayer en la noche serví este vaso de agua y hoy en la mañana, no sé, apareció así como, yo no sé si se alcanza a ver, como con gusanos, como, ¿qué es esa mierda?
As he's filming the glass, he sees a face looking back at him, and the chair scoots back on its own, making a loud sound. And of course, there's nothing around that could explain what just happened. Diego at this point does not know what is happening. At least that's what he writes in the caption of the following video. In it, he slowly opens a closet cabinet to find what looks like a young girl inside. And of course, when he opens it, there's no girl to be found. And unfortunately, it would seem that it's not just the ghost disappearing. In the next post on the account, Diego says that he doesn't know where Amy is. He writes, "Amy is no longer here. He just took her. We don't know where she is."
Amy! Amy!
We see in the video what appears to be a young girl being pulled under a bed and Diego running after her. By the time he gets there, it's too late. Just a few days later, however, Diego sees Amy. He sees her in his home walking down the stairs.
Amy! Amy! Dios mío. Diosito.
Diego follows her down the stairs, only to find her sitting at the end of a long hallway. The lights go out. When they come back, Amy is gone. At the end of the video, though, we hear a female voice say, "Little brother." And this is somewhat strange because why would Amy be referring to her uncle as little brother? For now, just kind of bank that away. It'll be really important later, but right now we're still just focusing on Amy and her disappearance. I can't even imagine the hell that Diego is in at this point, that Amy has just gone missing after all of these bizarre paranormal experiences are going on in the home. And despite the fact that she's gone, Diego seemingly keeps catching glimpses of her absolutely everywhere. He's filming a table at one point, and you can see a young girl beneath it staring back at him. The young girl has dark eyes and what looks like heavy bags beneath them, as though she hasn't been sleeping. A lot of this story can be gathered through captions, and there is an in-app translator on TikTok. Now, as I kind of debriefed in the beginning of this video, if anything is not quite perfect, please do forgive me. Mostly using the app here, but there are some captions on videos that I took to Google Translate as well, so any inconsistencies, I do apologize. The caption here reads, "Several people have come to help me find her and know what's going on, but they just leave and don't come back. Meanwhile, I see Amy everywhere, without power to do anything." I hope that I'm highlighting the severity of the situation, but just in case I'm not, Amy has been taken by the paranormal entity that seemingly was residing within this little doll, Maria, that she had. Everyone around Diego is looking for Amy, and they can't find her. But still something torments Diego, as in the following video, the timestamp on it, which there are timestamps in a lot of these, but the timestamp on this one is 3 a.m. Despite that late hour, we hear a heavy knocking.
Son casi las 3 de la mañana y están golpeando la puerta re durísimo. Amy.
And when Diego comes to the door, he sees the Maria doll in front of it. But I don't think that the Maria doll has shown up again since Amy's disappearance until now. And the doll seemingly has become more powerful in Amy's absence. We hear a dog crying at the start of the next video. And when Diego approaches the dog, he asks, "What did you do?" Only to find the Maria doll in front of his dog, torn to shreds.
¿Qué pasó, niña? ¿Qué pasó? No, 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 no. Güey, puta. ¿Qué es esta mierda?
Inside the doll, however, is a jewelry box, what looks like a tiny little jewelry box or a pouch or something. When Diego opens it, he finds two things: a little bit of jewelry, but also ashes.
¿Qué será esta mierda, güey? ¿Qué es esta aburrida, güey?
Also, at the end of the video, as he's realizing that these are ashes, a small hand reaches up over the table, but of course nothing is there. Then in the next video, Diego spots what looks like someone behind a glass wall. Whether this is a shower or just a door, I'm not sure. But either way, he rushes over to investigate, only to find she's disappeared. The caption here is what's really noteworthy about this video, however, because it says, Diego says, "I am blamed for Amy's disappearance, although I have done my best to find her and I have proof of what happened. It is not enough and I will lose my freedom. Today I went back to that house where it all happened so I can find proof that this is real." Diego is Amy's uncle, and it would appear that he is being blamed for her disappearance. Despite all of the evidence that he has, it's not enough. And if you're wondering why Amy and Diego lived in the same house in the first place, being niece and uncle, the next video might explain that. As in it, he shares that he has sent the ashes off to a lab for testing. and they have been confirmed as human ashes. He wasn't sure what they were. He sends them off. It comes back. They are human ashes. And in the description, he says, someone's ashes were hidden inside that doll, and I could swear they are my sister's. I just hope that this will help me understand everything that is happening and get Amy back before I get locked up for something I didn't do. So he shows us photos of his sister here. In one of them, it would appear that the little girl is wearing the same necklace that he found within the doll. We also remember earlier when I was like, hey, bank that away. It's important. It's important now. We heard someone earlier refer to Diego as little brother. So it would make sense if Diego's sister had passed away, that now he is the sole caretaker of his niece, Amy. And now that she has gone missing under his care, proper authorities, of course, believe it's him to blame. He was the last one to see Amy alive. He has this crazy story about Amy being abducted, basically, by this demonic entity in his home that is stored in a doll. And with all of this being said, Diego has only one idea: to bury the remains and to pray it can put a stop to this. However, it would seem that they have been spilled out of their own package. Diego also worries that burying the ashes too soon will end everything too early, and he will never be able to find his niece, Amy. The activity continues day in and day out. Disembodied hands swing doors back and forth, tormenting Diego in the middle of the night. Crying can also be heard at all hours of the day, and when Diego approaches whoever it is that he can hear crying, they're never actually there, or they disappear from under the blanket.
Amy? Amy?
Diego wrote on this video in particular of a girl crying and rocking back and forth under the blanket. I can't get her to tell me anything. No matter how hard I try to talk to her, she just cries. I don't know what to do, and I feel the more the days go by, the less chance I have to get her back. Now, she's the one under the blanket. So Diego thinks it's Amy now beneath the blanket. Amy's soul, or whatever Amy has become, rocking back and forth and sobbing. But that doesn't mean that Maria is gone. When Diego investigates a small child peeking out from behind a piece of furniture, he looks into it, of course, and it's just the doll. But remember how I said that Diego is currently being blamed for Amy's disappearance? He doesn't just have to worry about ghosts around his house. He is seemingly in the middle of like a criminal investigation. So with nothing left to turn to, Diego tries to communicate with Amy at 3 a.m.
Las 3 de la mañana y voy a intentar comunicarme con Amy. Aliabatsebu. No.
I think he's reciting a spell here. There wasn't a translation for this word. I've tried to figure it out multiple times. I don't know what it is. But of course we can see a hand come onto his shoulder as he is saying this word over and over, trying to communicate with Amy. The entity is close, always watching Diego's every move and proving just how powerful it truly is. This next video is time-stamped around 1 a.m. and we are seemingly in a kitchen now. We see what looks like 2 small children peeking out from behind a wall. Watch when I show you this, both walls. So there's one here, there's like a gap, and then there's one over here. Watch both of them because it's eerie.
Amy.
Amy.
The caption on this video reads, "It's been 2 hard days trying to prove my innocence, and today I'm going home after a week. I meet her again without being able to do anything else. No matter what videos I have, they just don't serve as proof to prove that Amy just disappeared one day. They think I'm crazy, even though they didn't find Amy. I know I'm the only one to blame for her not being with me." And the spirits just continue to torment him with everything else he's got going on. You would think they would give him a bit of peace, a little bit of a break, but no, it's constant. And in one video, he can see a young girl hiding behind the drying laundry, but her eyes are very creepy. I think it's important to note something here, and I didn't want to give a million disclaimers in the beginning, but occasionally here, Diego has been referring to someone with he and his pronouns. I thought that this could be a translation glitch because we haven't seen any masculine figure. Occasionally the translation would come back, "He took Amy," instead of "it took Amy," or something like that. However, in the next video, we see and hear something that I think is important enough for me to say that I'm still not sure if I'm missing a piece of the puzzle here, and there was this male presence on top of everything, and maybe this like masculine figure that was almost controlling Maria and Amy.
Yo toda la madrugada escuchando ese ruido. Amy, Amy.
Over in like the cabinet area, you can see a man's face and it sounds like a deep male voice. However, that's the only time anything masculine is seen on screen whatsoever, or anything that's not the 2 young girls. It's impossible to understand what the disembodied voice is saying here, but this could change things. What if there is like a puppet master, so to speak? Something that took Maria. Maybe Maria is just another victim like Amy, and now this thing has taken Amy too. Meanwhile, Diego gets no rest and no peace, none of it, from Maria or Amy. Diego writes as a caption in the next video, "I've been unable to sleep for several days. Her laughter is the only thing I hear at night. Today, after a long time, I saw her during the day, and that can only mean something bad." The entity seemingly is enjoying its torture of Diego. The next video is probably my least favorite one on the account. It scares me so badly. When Diego hears something coming from his washing machine. Every time he gets too close, there's never anything actually physically there in the places that he investigates. And of course, it bangs on the doors and walls all night with nothing to ever be found when Diego looks into it. Still trying to prove his innocence or gather any connections to the entity, Diego goes to a cemetery. He writes, "Many people don't believe in this, so I came to look answers in the place where I was told she is, but this ended up disturbing my mind more." What I think he was looking for here was his sister's grave. And when he goes to look for it, it seems as though someone has like carved the tombstone out. So if his sister isn't there, where is she? We hear somebody scream at the end of the cemetery video, and later on, Diego does say if it wasn't her, who was it? He had hoped that visiting the cemetery would give the vengeful spirit some kind of peace, some kind of rest, something to improve the situation here. But all it does is make things worse. Diego is awoken by laughter in the middle of the night, a young girl's laughter, and probably hoping this was Amy, he looks into it.
Amy.
In one of the last videos in this story on the account, Diego writes that ever since he visited the cemetery, no matter what, there is someone in the home waiting for him at all hours of the day. Doesn't matter if it's 1 a.m., 1 p.m., it doesn't matter. They are angrier and more active than ever. He spots a girl beside the washer, hears noises come from the bathroom. When his car alarm goes off in the middle of the night and he goes to investigate it, there's a young girl in the back seat of his car.
Que me metieron al carro. Puta, el radio.
He wrote, "I remember thinking at first that it was just my sister's soul wanting to tell me something. Now I know she is not my sister, let alone a child. This is a demonic thing." All this time, Diego was probably still holding out hope that the spirit was his sister, that Amy was potentially safe with her real mother. However, he knows now that can't be the case, that whatever this is, it could never be his sister, it could never be her soul, it could never be a child, period. It has tormented him at this point for months and taken Amy, and it doesn't seem like Diego is ever going to get her back. Because the last video on the account shows a ball rolling across the floor down the hallway towards Diego. And when he looks up, he sees a small child running down the hallway across from him. And then Diego posted a video where he explained that he would make sense of all of his other content. And in it, I don't want to show it here just in case, he gets into a car accident. Casual, right? After seeing a massive explosion. And essentially this was his way of showing us that he is very skilled with editing. Heck of a way to do it, but he does show in the following videos how he created all of the content on the account. He was working with his family, seemingly having a great time doing it as well. Even his own daughter starred in a video, which was adorable. But what does it mean for the story? I think that it wrapped up in the most natural way that it could without continuing to go on until Diego found Amy. It's clear that this man was posting these videos, Diego, of course, in the story. He was posting these videos hoping that somebody would believe him because everyone around him thinks he's crazy, thinks he lost his niece. Potentially, they suspect that he's done something really foul and bad. And meanwhile, he's just being plagued by this insane demonic entity. The Maria doll seemingly housed the ashes of his sister. However, we don't know how the sister died, but I know that wasn't his sister's spirit doing all of that stuff. What if, and this is just my theory at this point, because I don't think we're ever going to get an answer of this from the account. It seems like Diego is having a lot more fun just talking about how he made the videos now, and he hasn't posted anything in character in a while. So my theory, the story that I'm going with in my head, and I really have no basis to back it up on, but this is what I'm going with, okay? Amy is living with her uncle. She misses her mother. She hears about a ritual, maybe through her friends, something that could bring her peace and bring her mother back to life in the form of a doll or a paranormal game of sorts. She puts the ashes into the Maria doll along with the necklace of her mother's, and instead of bringing her mother in, she invites in something much, much darker. And she has fun at first. She's enjoying hanging out with her friend, or who she believes to be her friend, Maria. The demon knows what was trying to be conjured through this doll. That's why it says, "Hi, little brother," or whatever earlier in the series. And then after everything, of course, Amy has been taken, and it seems as though Diego was in the end as well, or he's just gonna go to jail for his missing niece. This entire story was crazy though, and I'm glad that I had the chance to sit down and do a full breakdown, but ooh buddy, this was a lot of videos. I know it was a lot of videos also, and I hope you guys don't mind the longer video because I didn't really want to divide this up. I'm such trash at remembering to do like part 2s for stuff, as I am sure you know after watching me for about 10 seconds. And also, after waiting so long to do it, I really wanted to just wrap this story up in a nice, neat little bow for you. I think that if I ever do an account of this caliber in the future, like this many TikToks, I probably wouldn't do it all in one video. But again, this feels like a particularly special case. We have waited so long to go through those videos. I had to wait on translations, and then I also had to do a ton of research and work as I was writing my script because I still had to translate other things, and then yada yada yada. But what do you guys think about this? I'm glad that the story didn't keep going on longer than the creator wanted it to, but I also kind of feel sort of sad that we never got like an ending, so to speak. It's just sort of left up in the air. That's gonna be it for me today, guys, but before I go, I want to say a huge thank you to my subscriber Deborah, who is a member of this channel and who commented a very freaky thing that happened to her. Listen, if you want to join our channel memberships, let me know about something scary that happened to you. Maybe you'll be a future comment here, but you also get other cool members only perks such as polls to help me decide on new videos, members only updates and videos. And if you do want to join, you can click that little join button. It should be somewhere around the screen. We would love to have you. For now, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, go and give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I love you very, very much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!